r/ask Reddit. Which villain do you feel sympathy for? Baby doll from the old animated Batman series. She was stuck looking young forever and it broke her down. She actually cried in Batman's arms because of it. We also can't forget Scarface's ventriloquist. He wasn't in control of Scarface and Scarface himself is another personality part of him. I feel bad for him. The boyfriend Ken from the B movie. I think Quentin Reviews said it best when he said that, basically, Ken plays both the movie's antagonist and the straight man. I mean, sure, he's a bit douchey, but he's just a guy, and he's justifiably weirded out by the situation, and rightfully mad that his girlfriend doesn't want to hang out with him anymore, because of a B. Megamind, but I guess that's the point. Dracula from the Netflix Castlevania series. Dude lost his wife to religious fanatics after he rediscovered his humanity and had to fight and nearly kill his son. The only thing in this world that Lisa left him to remember her by. I don't know about you, but that was pretty much what sold me on the Netflix series. They completely changed Isaac, and it was fantastic. Dracula's relationship with him was so great. Mr. Freeze. Pretty much. He doesn't even want to destroy the city like a maniac. He really wants to do is just save his wife. Godzilla. He doesn't know it's wrong to stomp on buildings. He's just doing Godzilla things. Magneto. When you think how hard his life has been, edit. His theme song is probably the best theme song for any movie character I know. Magneto's biggest issue is looking for quick solutions to a complex problem. Charles' dream of human-mutant coexistence is a slow and difficult one, but it's also the only one that doesn't end in segregation or genocide. Also, there is this big blue guy with celestial tech who is functionally immortal and wants to force everyone on Earth to fight in an end war to see who's the strongest. Maybe everyone should unite to fight the common enemy? Find some common ground in that? The Ice King. Please forgive me for whatever I do when I don't remember you. Thomas from Tom and Jerry. He had to put up with that smartass mouse only because it was backed up by a massive dog with anger management issues. I thought Jerry was the villain. No, Tom was a cat. He was supposed to get the mouse out of the house. Jerry was a bully. Jerry had no right to live there. Tom was the house pet. Javed from Les Miserables. He's a police officer who isn't corrupt in any way, shape or form. He is just so bent on justice that he leaves no room for mercy. He's entirely broken when mercy is shown to him that he commits suicide, as the worldview he's built for himself has been completely shattered, and he can't cope. Frankenstein's monster. In the book it's astounding how much of a jerk Victor is. Mr. Crocker. He's a mentally unstable man who lives with his mother and takes loans to build layers underneath the school and is tormented by a kid who looks like a beaver, and the one thing he dedicates his life to do exists, but every time he is close to proving it he fails and looks more crazy, and the time he stopped believes sick-sighing in fairies after seeking help he had to be driven back into madness because he powers a large percentage of fairy world. Loki grew up being told he has a chance of becoming king if he works hard enough, only for Thor to be in finding out he was actually an ice giant and adopted, and that because he is an ice giant he would never be king. Yeah, he does some shitty stuff, like trying to enslave the human race, but he's just a dramatic emo kid acting out after being lied to his entire life. Gollum. That is one messed up little hobbit. Azula from Avatar: The Last Airbender. She was brought up to be her father's tool in the war, and in the end, that broke her. Worse for me was that she was only 14 and spent her whole life believing her mother hated her and that the only possible way to be loved was to be feared. Robbie Rotten. We all know Spartacus is the real villain. Loki in the first Thor movie. He then turned into an anti-hero of sorts. Not a villain, but he is certainly a villain in the first movie. Dude just wanted his father to love him as much as he loved Thor. Then he finds out he was kidnapped from the Frost Giants and raised in a lie. I feel like Odin is the real villain for that family. Adrian Toomes, aka the Vulture from Spider-Man: Homecoming. He starts off as a small business owner cleaning up the mess that the Avengers left after the destruction of New York, and then loses that job because the man who was partly responsible for the mess in the first place steals the job right from under him. And instead of turning to revenge and becoming some kind of anarchist, he becomes a weapons dealer to pay his mortgage and take care of his employees. In fact, His whole motivation is to provide for his wife and daughter. The color brown. I don't understand why everyone hates it. I do enjoy watching the confusion on people's faces when I say it's my favorite color though. Sandman from the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man series in the third movie. He just wanted to save his remaining family. Don't agree with his methods but do agree with his reason. Tai Lung from Kung Fu Panda. He legit trained his whole life to become the Dragon Warrior, but he didn't. Then threw a fit of rage and they built a prison specially for him. Then got sent to the other world for eternity. His whole life he chased after a dream and never got it. But isn't that the reason that he couldn't be Dragon Warrior? He was physically capable but mentally and emotionally, he wasn't ready to be the Dragon Warrior. Plankton LOL cause he sucks. Dr. Evil. Yeah, he didn't spend 6 years in evil medical school to be called Mr. Thank you very much. Anytime a romantic comedy features the story of a guy or girl meeting someone who is already in a relationship, I always feel bad for their soon-to-be ex. Think Sweet Home Alabama. Even when the ex gets painted as a nagging woman or a guy who works all the time, etc. I also hate the idea of there only being one right person for each of us being romanticized like that. I think love is just as much about making a choice as it is about the chemistry. Draco Malfoy. He deserved the redemption arc that Snape got. He was a child, and he didn't really have a choice about joining the Death Eaters, because his whole family was part of it and he didn't have anywhere else to go. And, you know, Voldy would have killed him. Draco grew up and became better than he was before. Plus the only reason he planned to kill Dumbledore is because he was under threat of his entire family being killed if he didn't. He was a terrified and brainwashed child. I honestly hate so much that he didn't get a real redemption arc. Vincent D'Onofrio's Kingpin. Outstanding actor. Nobody else could have humanized the character like he did. The Russian boxer in the Rocky movies. In the first one he is just laying the smack down on a douche. Sorry Apollo Creed. And in Creed 2 he beats the shit out of his obnoxious kid who won't fight anyone good. Mr. Glass. Anyone would be a cranky, vindictive a-hole in a body like that. His bones break constantly. He cannot be touched or held. We are hardwired social animals who need touch and affection. You would have to be saintlier than any saint to rise above that kind of pain and deprivation. Syndrome from The Incredibles. The guy was rejected by the one he looked up to the most and tried to rid society of this false sense of needing heroes to do what anyone could if they had the technology. Thanos levels of sympathy for wanting the best for everyone, but messing everything up by having a twisted way of doing so. Bruce from Finding Nemo. Even as a kid I was able to understand the allusion to dealing with addiction despite wanting to be an upstanding member of society. Whoa, you made it to the end? You're a ducking beast. I'll cut you a deal. Smash like and subscribe for more curated content, bruh. It's free and that's a great price.